There's probably some money in that thing. So it definitely fell on the roof. Oh. You cannot put that on YouTube.
Nope.
What's up, guys? We're back out here in Detroit today looking at this house behind me. We're actually like one street away from Grosse Pointe, which is, again, a very expensive area here. Nice city, nice zip code. Our client is looking at purchasing this house as a flip. Now, this is a great area for that because it's so expensive. So let's go through and see what we see. One thing that we don't love to see, the land bank owns property. You guys have heard the land bank on this channel. When the land bank gives the property to someone or sells it to someone, they still hold an interest in the title, which means that you don't technically own it until the land bank releases you. So you can see we've got a vacate order, another vacate order, and then a notice of building closure, which means they've deemed it unsafe to enter. For us, not a big deal, we'll put it back together. But what that means is that the seller who is selling it, unless it is the land bank, may not have permission to sell this home. If somebody bought this house and they did not do what they had to do to get compliance, they are not able to sell it because the land bank still technically owns it. Now, because we have a vacate order, I'm gonna assume that the land bank took back possession, but the real estate agent on this house is not one that I know of that typically deals with the land bank, and they typically use all the same agents. So that's one thing before our client does anything on this property. After we look at it in person, we need to go talk to either the agent, the land bank, the title company, somebody, and verify that the seller either is the land bank or the seller does have the authority to sell this house. That's something you could make a huge mistake on. Let's say, I don't know what the list price is, but let's say you pay 100 grand for this house and the seller never actually had the authority to sell this house. You just blew 100 grand and there's nothing you can do about it. Let's go inside, see what it looks like. First thing you'll notice is that's hollow under there. So most porches are actually hollow, and you pour a cap over a hollow cavity. Most people backfill them nowadays. This one's not backfilled. So as you can tell, over time, weight on this patio cracked it. So we're gonna have to rip the patio top off. It's called a porch cap. We're gonna have to rip the porch cap off, backfill it, then put a new porch cap on top of it. Not a huge expense, but it's something you gotta do. You'll also notice you've got, from where Trent is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, 7 if you count that one. Anything, as soon as you hit 3 steps or more, you have to have a handrail. So we're also gonna have to put handrails here. Not super expensive, but another thing you need to know for local code. Yeah, nothing like that moldy air. So you'll see the one thing we talk about all the time, this old tile. Again, it never ceases to amaze me that this stuff always survives. The build quality on it is just so superior to what people do nowadays that it shouldn't surprise me. But every time I see a 100-year-old home without a cracked tile, I love it because that's something we can save. Another thing that we may save is this door. It's not super expensive, it's not super nice, but it's solid. It's like a, when I say solid, I don't mean like it's cool. It's like solid, like real thick wood, no particle board, nothing. This is a real wood door. So very solid door, very nice to have. We have a place where we can get the glass panes replaced, and we'll do that and save this door. Hello? Yeah, I'm filming. Yeah. All right, bye. So we'll replace the glass pane, we'll sand and paint it. It'll look like a nice character door. You've still got this old doorknob, assuming it functions, which it does. It looks like the lock has been stripped off the back end though, so we'll have to see if we can replace that hardware. So for 50 grand, which is what they're asking for this house, it's a fantastic zip code, fantastic area. That's a really solid doorknob too. Solid word of the day, apparently. Now, being so close to Grosse Pointe, you're pretty close to some pretty expensive real estate, which is why when you look at a house like this and you think it's about 50 grand, some people might say, man, in that condition, that's a lot. It is a lot. But keep in mind, the next street over, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1.2. So it can definitely be worth it. Hey, Alexis, how big is this house? Is she outside?
Yeah. How big's the house?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, they have Mission Impossible 2 on VHS.
Frank would love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Frank would eat this up.
2,300.
2,300. Yeah. So people have compared me and Frank to this in the comments before. I've never actually seen this, so like I don't know anything about this. But Frank, in the comments, people have said Frank and I are a lot like this. So Frank would love this whole VHS collection we got going on here. But back to the house. You can see, again, lath and plaster. That's a lot of what's in these older Detroit homes. Now, not a huge deal. We'll cut it out in a square and we'll re-drywall it. But you can tell the walls themselves are in actually fantastic shape. These might be easier to get to. That I want to show you guys is these old windows are in actually great shape. Now these are very expensive. These are old lead windows. The quality is superior to none, or other way around, superior to most. They still function. They're a huge character piece, and they're expensive to replace because when Detroit went bankrupt, when the auto industry pulled out, and then you had the collapse and everything else, so many kids and neighbors and whatever would just throw rocks through windows in the city for something to do. And these side windows are all the ones that got busted. So like these old lead windows are definitely a character piece and definitely something you want to save. And since they're all here and functional, that's a great sign. Now, the other thing, we've got the solid wood French doors, which is also great.
She's like freaking out. Are you okay?
No, I just.
Is there a body?
There's literally like a fake stuffed bird over there, and it scared the shit out of me because I thought there was a bird in here.
Now, one thing you'll notice, which was similar to if you've seen our video of the Van Dyke Mansion, this is canvas. So this is not paint or wallpaper. This is like a canvas burlappy kind of thing. And back in the day, instead of wallpaper or anything like that, people would get a canvas like this on the wall here with a really nice pattern or something on it. And then you would see here that it would stick to this old lath and plaster. So this yellow on here is a glue. And they would glue this stuff to the plaster. Instead of wallpaper, you'd have real thick canvas. Now, the problem with this canvas was if anything ever leaked, you would not know about it for a while. Because this canvas behind, again, this thick lath and plaster, you're not going to know the water's coming until it's too late, and it's going to do a ton of damage. So that's why nobody does it anymore, and you either get wallpaper or paint. But they used to canvas things in a lot of higher end homes, which is what this would have been back in the day. So when you see this hanging, it's literally just a sheet of canvas that, you know, before it got painted over or bleached by the sun, it would have had a really cool design on it, like in the Van Dyke Mansion. The other thing, a lot of windows here. We talk about it all the time, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. You know, you've spent 10 grand in windows in the entry, which is a lot. Same with these doors, right? It's great that we have these old, solid hardwood with real glass doors, and we can save those. Those are in good enough shape to save, but if they weren't 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, it can get very expensive. Now, fortunately, they're here and they look to be in good shape. What I would bet, I'll look in the other rooms as we go through because I don't see any in here because there's just so much shit on the floor. But if we were able to pull this carpet up, I guarantee you there's hardwoods under here. Now, they're going to be in rough shape. They're going to need laced in, sanded, replaced in some areas. But, God, it's fucking hot.
It's so warm.
I'm baking in this window.
I was going to say, yeah, we can always move.
No, because I want to talk about this. Distracted myself. It's probably great hardwoods under here, so they're going to need work, but if this is true hardwood under here, it's 100-year-old hardwood. And some of it will be buckled, some of it will be destroyed, but we can replace it, sand it, stain it, it'll look gorgeous. You can see the walls here have no drywall, plaster, nothing. So we're going to end up re-drywalling pretty much this whole house, I would assume. Now, with that being said, you have radiators here. If the radiators work, it may be cheaper to just fix them. Judging by the state of the rest of the house, I'm going to assume they don't work, and the boiler probably doesn't either. So while we have the walls open, while we have the roofs open, while we rip up the floors to replace the hardwoods, it'll be a great time to run HVAC through the property. So being that we have it all open, we can delete these, and while we're working on the floors, we can plug in where the radiator stacks were and make it just a full solid hardwood floor and cut in our new HVAC. So we'll look in the basement and check out the boiler and stuff later, but that would be my plan, is rip this stuff out and let's update it. Frank would have a field day in here.
I know.
He loves all this old, useless.
I know. Literally, I look at that. I'm like, I kind of want that keyboard for my
right,
for work.
just
cause, exactly.
So this right here would have been what's known as like your butler's pantry, where, you know, the help would have prepped and done some light cooking and stuff like that while the owner of the home was entertaining. So most of the time nowadays, you just knock this wall out because on the other side is the rest of the kitchen. And you just make this, you know, one big open kitchen. But that's why they were segmented like this. And you come back here, it needs a whole new kitchen, right? It's got a drop ceiling. Under that drop ceiling, I'm sure, is the lath and plaster we've been looking at. Now, when it got really rough in Detroit, people, instead of replastering and lathing, everything else, they would just do a drop ceiling because it was so much cheaper. So instead of coming through and replastering and plastering and paying all that money, people would just put a drop ceiling in, cover the issue. So it seems like the ceilings are much lower, but they're probably just hiding bad plaster. So rip those out, you'll get it back.
You know what this house reminds me of?
What?
Reminds me of the house in Fight Club.
I don't know that I know it.
Really?
I've seen the movie.
Yeah, it's just like they have this like mansion that's just shit. And
This reminds you of
this reminds me
mansion?
of that. Yeah.
So this is that canvas we were talking about, and this is the kind of print that would be on it. And if you guys can't tell, but this is like felt. Yeah. Like this is not wallpaper. This is like actual felt. And so they would have done that in a lot of nicer homes. It's a shame that they literally have carpet over everything though, because I'm sure there's hardwoods under these. Like you can see here, that's hardwood. So under these is hardwood. Hardwood staircases are way more expensive than hardwood floors. So they would not have done a hardwood staircase without hardwood floors. So I'm sure they're under there, which again, huge value add for the client. If you liked the video so far, like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Oh God. Frank would be in this briefcase the rest of the video.
There was an unopened briefcase in the kitchen, and I was like, kind of want to see what's in there.
They have a load of like old computers up here.
Yeah.
Which like are not worth anything.
Just multiple copies of Monty Python.
He's a collector. God, this is gonna be, you know, when Frank's old, one day we're gonna go through Frank's house.
And this is what it's gonna be.
And it's like, this is the shit that we're gonna see.
Oh.
You cannot put that on YouTube.
Nope.
How many should we go through? When I said this guy was a fucking collector.
He really, my lord.
I mean, I've got like a box of porn right here. White girls. That's crazy. That's a full box of
straight.
But if we get past the porn box, so make sure you blur that.
Yeah, just we close out as best as possible.
If we blur, but you can see we've got the hardwood floors in here, which is what I was talking about. Now, you would not put them on the second floor if you did not put them on the first floor, because back in the time period, the first floor is where everyone hang out. Bedrooms are just for sleeping. So the fact that it's here, it's definitely down there. I don't know how much you can really get in here.
Yeah.
Same with that one, but I can tell there's like a dip down in the front.
But there's about 30 cents in here on the floor. And so Frank would crawl through all of this for that. Yeah. But he's not here today.
I think Frank would absolutely love this house. I kind of feel bad he's not here.
Oh, we'll bring him back. Because even though as bad as this house looks, this is what I would probably advise the client buys. Because I would imagine your comps are probably 400 grand over here, and they want 50 grand for it. You're probably going to spend 200 fixing it up. If you're 250 all into it, and then you're going to have some holding costs, selling costs, closing costs, that kind of shit. If you're 275 all into it and you get 4 for it, that's a pretty good day. You know, you make $125 on 275. That's a pretty good day. I definitely can't get in here.
I don't know if anyone can.
You can see here. And so, you know, to that point, this is what makes some of these estimates difficult, is we're estimating the house while only being able to see probably really 30% of the house. We're more than likely just going to assume everything's shot, and if it turns out that that's not the case later, we'll save money. But we'd rather be safe and assume that everything's bad that we can't see, and then once we clear it out and we can see it and it's fine, that's good. If it's shot, we budgeted for that, it's fine. But you can see in this back corner here, that's exterior wall. You can see by the sun coming through. That's probably a porch or a patio of some kind. And over the years, it just degraded on the inside. So not a huge deal, but I bet when we go to the backyard and check it out, there's probably some structural, probably some reframing, a lot of work to go on out there. But with a $200,000 budget, I think you could easily get this place done, including some of that. So we'll see that when we go outside. Did we go in this one?
No.
Oh God, Frank would be all in that toolbox too. This is definitely a Frank house.
Yeah, I mean, there was even a Star Wars calendar down there.
You see that?
I did.
He would fight his way through that to get that box and open it. And this old trunk. I mean, and not that we're just joking around, but some of this stuff probably does have some value.
Yeah.
Like if that's a real alligator skin trunk, there's probably some money in that thing because it's dirty, but it's in great shape. So like, you have to remember this used to be very expensive real estate back in the day. So like the people who lived here did have nice shit. Like it wouldn't be crazy to find an old Louis Vuitton bag in one of these big houses. So I'm not going to go up here, but there's your attic access. From in here I can see enough to know that the roof's probably dry, but we can put the drone up and check outside and see the roof that way anyway. So rather than wading through all this and hoping that this is going to support us, we'll just check it out from the drone. Let's head to the basement and then we'll go outside. Oh shit, we can get right down there.
This is the best part.
This is the best.
This is a part.
Yeah. Oh wow, that scent really just smacks you.
So the big thing we look for down here, really there's three things. Number one, do we have any mechanicals? Now, I don't see any, but those pipes lead me to believe they're that way. So we'll check that out. But right now we're looking at the block. So the block actually appears to be in pretty good shape, which is your biggest expense in these foundations. You can see here that the electrical is very old. So more than likely you're gonna have to rewire and repanel this whole house. Now, that being said, we're gonna open all the walls and the floors and everything anyway. Not a huge deal. The plumbing looks also pretty rough. Being that the floors, walls, everything else are gonna be open, not a huge deal. Replumb it. It's less expensive than if you were just doing the plumbing. When I say it's less expensive, obviously you're doing more things, so the total cost will be higher. But when you're doing this, each one of them is less expensive when you bundle them than as if you were to do this one, then 2 years later do this one, then this one. So it is more expensive total, but it is cheaper per item. So a tree may have fallen on the house, may have fallen on the roof. We're gonna see if we can see that, because that's gonna change the number quite a bit. You can see that tree is well above the height of the house. So it definitely fell on the roof. When that happens, it's not a huge deal because you're replacing the roof anyway, but it is gonna increase your budget because more than likely some of that framing is damaged now. So you're not just ripping off shingles and wood, you're probably doing trusses, you're probably doing framing, you're probably doing a lot more work than just a usual roof replacement. We couldn't get in the attic to check it out. We did send the drone up there, and you guys will see that, or you've already seen it at this point, whatever, but you'll see it. That's a lot of extra work on top of just replacing a roof. So the number obviously goes up. So I didn't realize this, but you've got a nice little stream back here. I don't know, it looks like people are swimming and kayaking and fishing and stuff. I don't know that I would do that here, but you've got some flowing water in the backyard. It's always nice. You can sit on your porch, patio, deck, whatever, and look at the water. That's always nice. But the big reason we came back here is to see that tree. And you can see where it's just completely fallen on the house. And like we expected, a lot of the framing is gonna need to be done. Now, the one benefit to this is that, not to the tree falling, that's not a benefit.
I was gonna say, I don't know how that benefits in any way.
The one benefit is that you have a shared driveway, which we did not expect. So you have a shared driveway back to parking here. So originally we thought it was street parking, but if you clear this space too, you could easily get 4 cars parked back here, which is enough for a family of this size. And you know, you could clear that as far back as you want reasonably to the water. So it's nice that it's got parking. It's nice that it's got a fenced in yard. Like we thought, the windows are shot, the roof is shot, a lot of reframing, but the brick, even though it's holding the weight of that tree, which is a massive tree, I could not tell you how heavy it is, but it is a very heavy tree. And the brick is not really moving at all. You can see a little bit in this corner here, but that's more tuck pointing than it is anything to really be concerned about. So if we get to it quickly and get that tree off the house, it won't do too much damage. So it looks a lot scarier than it is, and it's definitely an expense that you would incur, but it's not the worst case scenario. It's better than fire, it's better than flood, not a huge deal. That's a look at another property that we're checking out for one of our investors. If you want to see another video like this, click right here.